From the first video game ever created till today's sophisticated video games, gaming industry has never ceased to be a really interesting case. This is especially true over the last decade, since this interest is being translated into numbers in the entertainment industry. To understand the importance of the industry in today's economy, we could compare the sales revenue of the most profitable movie with the most profitable video game title. Avatar hit 2.78 billion, where Grand Theft Auto 5 managed to hit 817.5 million in the first 24 hours, and up until today, total revenue is estimated to be over $6 billion. To be able to achieve such numbers, games have to be immersive and integrate technological advancements so that they become as appealing as possible for gamers. That is what Rockstar Games did when creating GTA 5. They used an advanced new engine named Rage that gave GTA 5 its success story, delivering a product that impressed and was better than what players were experiencing before. As we can see from the example of Rage, organizations in the industry are competing based on which company uses cutting-edge technology to immerse the customer to its game environment. A technology being used is AI, which has existed in games since the Computer Space game in 1971. By using AI, developers are trying to generate responsive, adaptive, or intelligent behaviors, primarily non-playable characters, NPCs, similar to human-like intelligence. Despite the progress, Epic Games CEO Tim Sweeney has said that video game AI is still in the dark ages, as many games don't use true AI techniques, but rather sophisticated predetermined patterns instructed by game developers. A characteristic of a true AI is machine learning. Machine learning is the capability of advanced software to identify and recognize patterns, which it then learns from and uses to perform specific actions. As a result, a developer does not need to manually program everything. There are two types of machine learning: reinforcement and deep learning. Reinforcement learning is a learning method based on not instructing the system what to do, but only what is right and what is wrong. As Nigretti, a Unity game engine developer, says, this means that we let the system perform random actions and we provide a reward or a punishment when we think that these actions are respectively right or wrong. What's most interesting, however, is that the machine gets smarter with each interaction, meaning an infinite number of actions and scenarios are introduced as more gameplay unfolds. Examples of reinforcement learning in gaming could vary, from a car that learns how to complete the race on its own by not repeating the same mistake twice, to a more sophisticated example of where a team of 5 AI bots programmed by OpenAI, an institution founded by Elon Musk, are able to win 5 professional gamers in Dota 2 game quite easily. Apart from reinforcement learning, a more complex type of machine learning is deep learning or deep neural networks. In deep learning networks, programmers do not need to define items, but the machine is able to do it by itself, having exposed to a large amount of data of a specific item. As we can see from the Google Brain example, the system is being provided with pictures of over 10 million cats and dogs. The system is learning by exposure to data, forming its own understanding instead of actually being programmed to recognize them. After a point, AI is able to say if something is a cat or a dog by analyzing the input image and comparing it to data gathered from its exposure to the 10 million images of cats and dogs. Some examples of deep learning that most of us have heard or used are chatbots, translation systems, autonomous vehicles, face recognition software, and voice-activated assistants. We are going to examine some applications of deep learning in video game industry by giving the example of Rockstar's title Grand Theft Auto 5, an action-adventure video game where the gamer is able to play as 3 different playable characters in an open-world environment represented by a city. The story is centered on heists, and many missions involve shooting and driving gameplay, making the game restricted to players under 18 years old. We are focusing on non-playable characters and the environment. To begin with, algorithms could play as NPCs. Right now, your opponents in a video game are pre-scripted non-playable characters, but if developed with deep learning, it could allow you to play against adapting, challenging, less predictable foes that could also adjust their difficulty level. Your enemies could get smarter and respond in unique ways based on your actions and progression within the game. So in the case of GTA, police could get smarter and enhance patrols in areas where you interact more, or your playable character sets his operations. This will be a random unscripted decision of the system based not on how the game is instructed to function, but on how to adapt to the playstyle of a gamer. Apart from customers' experience, companies could also benefit. Currently, game studios spend hundreds of man-hours scripting NPCs. Not hard-coding NPCs could reduce the development cycle for a game significantly. In the game of GTA 5, for example, it took 5 years for Rockstar to develop and publish the game. NPC interaction dialogue based on deep learning is another interesting story. In most games, you need to interact with scripted characters in order to complete your objectives. However, these dialogues are limited. Integrating natural language processing based on deep learning like Alexa or Siri could allow you to talk out loud to in-game characters and get real responses depending on what you are saying. Imagine trying to get out of a situation when police catch your playable character just by talking your way out. To take the story a bit further, deep neural networks understanding human body language could make the NPC act based on its perception of your body language and your intentions by integrating VR haptics on a console so that it has your movement as input to process. For Rockstar, this is also going to save time for scripting the dialogue of every NPC in a game. When it comes to the environment, gamers could allow experience its creation on the fly. Today, open-world games have specific boundaries that playable characters are not able to reach. If deep learning will be used, the environment will be a customized experience for every user, as it will be capable of shaping itself based on players' action and desires as comprehended by the system. In GTA's example, imagine more than one city, each one offering something different based on what the system understood that the player has done in the previous one. So if a player invested time doing hiking and exploring forests in the first city, the next city visited by the playable character will be a rural environment shaped based on players' preferences. Apart from having a really appealing product to sell, Rockstar could also save immense amount of time, as open-world games require thousands of hours of developer and artist time to render the environments. It is evident that deep learning could have an immense influence in gaming industry, and Rockstar, for our case, if it manages to integrate deep learning in its future titles, it will be able to create more success stories, such as GTA 5. There are some technical considerations though. Machine learning algorithms used in games have to be unfailing. They have to be correct and fast, as delays or crashes could be really annoying for a player. Moreover, forming neural network needs GPU, graphic processing unit, to be created, but when you're already playing a game, GPU resources are being used. So technology needs to progress even further to allow gamers a creation on the fly environment experience. Here lies an ethical question as well. Assuming such an immersive game is created, will people be able to understand what is real and control how many hours to spend gaming? Technology alone is just a tool. Similar considerations have happened with the introduction of VR and other technologies. Gamers will be able to use tools provided as they fit in to entertain themselves by playing alone or with their friends.